every direction you look, it is just absolutely catastrophic.
So I'm here with John Rickwald, the world's expert on. No, I'm just bullshitting. But listen, John. Why? Explain to me why your pack looks like it does.
Well, because it's tactical. It's designed to be able to drop 80% of the weight in less than 2 minutes, because I'm only 20 miles from home and I don't need a sleeping bag and change of clothes. But it's also designed so I can make a decision later why I am, what I'm going to take and what I'm not going to take, so that I can just grab it and go and get away from the threat and then sit down and figure out what I'm going to need to walk home.
Okay, so you have this with you when you travel then?
Yes, sir. It's in the passenger seat of the van, the work van, and sometimes I'm 200 miles from home and sometimes I'm working across the street. So it's designed to be able to go 200 miles or 200 feet.
Okay. So just by looking at it though, it looks to, I mean, to the average person, this thing would look like completely overkill. And you're probably aware of that. You've experienced that.
And in fact, because it's in some terms is overkill, you always have to remember that when you create a monster like this, that sometimes you can't take it, and all you can do is grab this and go.
Right. Okay, cool.
The biggest earthquake since 1995. It struck at about 2:46 Japan time, shortly after 1 a.m. Eastern time. Again, 8.8. That is a monster earthquake.
So, John, I see you got some stuff laid out on the table. Why don't you tell me what this is all about?
Well, this is the stuff that I normally carry in my work van. In my job, sometimes I'm climbing a roof, and I'd like some safety. I used to do mountain climbing, so I know how to use this stuff. A few years back, I rebuilt the Salmon Creek Trail, and the Forestry Service gave me this to do it, and it's been coming useful at work, but I may need this for some other disaster situation. This is rain gear. This is a sleeping bag liner, and these are instant hot drinks and soups. It actually works. You turn the can that way, you pull the seal off, you press the button, shake it for 30 seconds, set it there for 60 seconds, and the next thing you know, you have a hot latte.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is my Glock Generation 3, Model 23, 40 caliber. And these are 3 mags. They only hold 10 rounds per mag because I'm in California. And because of that, I have to keep this thing locked up in a safe in the cab, empty. And I have to keep these in the back of the van so I can't get to them without getting out of the van.
And it did major damage throughout the Los Angeles basin. It was 6.6 on the Richter scale. 5 major highways have been cut. Water supplies threatened. Gas mains have exploded. A half-dozen communities have exploded in flames. And the death toll has been going up all day long.
So, what's this CERT thing all about? I noticed, you know, you're a member of the CERT team. What is CERT, and what is all this stuff?
Well, yes, I'm a member of the CERT team. That's Community Emergency Response Team. This is cool. This is, I think, like the invention of bread to the emergency industry. People helping other people who've had just enough training to do the right thing. So we have what's called our local CERT community, and we have many members, and in a large disaster, these people are going to help. And what I like about CERT also is that they don't demand you help. They want you to be under control yourself, your family's under control, you feel now you'd like to do some help. And so by joining a CERT and taking the class, you're going to learn a lot to protect yourself and your family, and you're going to be able to help your community out, and that way you'll be part of the solution instead of part of the problem.
Okay, so for more information on that, you can anybody can join?
Yes.
Okay, well, so more information on that, we'll put a link for that right up here. There you go.
The earthquake occurred 90 kilometers from the city of Concepcion in Chile just after 3 o'clock in the morning local time. Buildings in the capital Santiago were reported to have shaken for between 10 and 30 seconds. Telephone and power lines are down, making it hard to assess damage.
So, John, I'm sure that one of the #1 questions that you get asked is, why in the world do you have so many antennas on this thing?
Well, because I'm a communications nut, I guess. It's part of my industry and part of my life for the last 40 years.
Do you feel that your survival is, your chances of surviving a disaster are better the more information you have with communications?
Absolutely. after a great quake, if you made it through the Great Quake, and you probably did, it's not the Great Quake now you're worried about. There's the aftershocks, the derailed train, the chemical plant. These are fires, things you have to worry about on your way home. If you're walking 200 miles home, you need to know about the little disasters that are along the way.
Okay, and so communications is the only way you're going to find out.
Absolutely.
This isn't like Survivor, dude, and you're trying to eat the rabbit or whatever,
Right.
you know? I mean, this is like just any means possible to get home, and if you have communications at your disposal, you've got a better chance of making it.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Because folks, this is not the average person's getting home pack.
And I don't recommend doing this.
Yeah.
You have to be into communications. Since I've been in, the one thing I do recommend, other than an AM/FM radio, here's my AM/FM radio, is, of course, it's not for everybody, but it's gotten more affordable, is a satellite telephone. This little guy, it can be pricey. Luckily, it's a loaner for me, but, John Whitford Communications sells these things, and we carry a demo, so luckily, how coincidental is that?
Well, and there's going to be a link right up here to order one. There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
We're following breaking news right now out of Washington, D.C., where a magnitude 5.3 earthquake has been felt in the D.C. area. The Pentagon has been evacuated.
Give us a little overview of what we can see here just from the outside, the outer packs. What do you got going on here?
Okay, so we have 3 radios here and 3 radios here. We have a solar system that can keep the batteries charged up for all the radios as I'm walking home.
And by the way, he demoed this for me last night, and he has the coolest little light on this thing. We ran out, I bought one. I had to have this. And I mean, I've got a little get home bag, but nothing as elaborate as this, but this was one of the things that I thought was extremely important. Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, John.
It's quite all right. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with this, the Goal Zero. So it charges batteries, and this is the light he was talking about. It lights up the whole area. I kind of like it. At first, I thought I was going to leave it behind maybe, but I'm on my test with this pack, that light was very useful. We're seeing things like paracord. Like here's my called the energy pouches. On the left, it's electrical, and on the right, it's fire. There's the sleeping bag. There's the pad. There's a change of clothes, jacket, and extra socks. We see another set of shoes right here with Gore-Tex socks on one side. We see different knives. There's an alarm system. If I turn that on, it better start talking to the remote I would normally keep with me. There, now they're talking. So, whoops, I'm in the wrong mode here. If I press that button.
So that way, if you were sleeping, somebody couldn't take your pack.
Actually, when I did my beta test, a squirrel jumped in the pouch on the pack, even though I had the food hanging, and my alarm went off. I thought it was a bear. Of course, I turned on all my lights and realized it was a squirrel. So the alarm has a proximity. In other words, if this stays with me and this gets more than 20 feet away, they both go off. If somebody shuts that switch off, this one goes off. So in other words, it's a great little system to prevent this pack from walking away without me. Here's the party pack. This is actually enough food and snacks to get me home if it actually took me a day and a half or so, 2 days. All the food inside is for an extended walk home. We see a skinny knife. I probably won't need that. There's a crowbar in there. There's a pickaxe shovel combo and the multi-tool. As we come around the other side, this is a tactical belt because a lot of this weight is going to end up on this belt so I can carry the pack. And then the opposite of the party pack is the first aid.
Now, if you have time before you try and get home and you're a long way away from home, you're not going to try and carry this entire thing. You're going to take things you absolutely think you're going to need.
Well, that's basically the concept, is to be able to drop anything I know I won't need or transfer weight in a different way. Every backpacker knows you shouldn't have weight sticking out the back of your pack. That's why this and this end up on the bottom of the pack. And if I have anything else I want, I can put it on the top of the pack.
So if this thing is in its current configuration, is because you move it from your vehicle to your work truck and back every day.
Right.
And so if it were set up, and that's another reason I'm assuming that you don't have everything on a belt right now,
right,
is because you don't want to have to move multiple things between multiple vehicles. You always want to have this thing with you.
Correct. I call this my transport, evac, and horseback mode. Basically, we have a little video we're going to throw in there. It shows me taking this out of my Ranger. If it was too tall, I'd hit the roof. If when I put it in the van, the seat is so high that if it had any more at the base, I couldn't get it up on the seat. So it just makes it perfect. This is the perfect size for the situation at hand. So that's the basic outsides, and we're going to start tearing all this apart one piece at a time, and I'm no longer going to explain anything. I mean, I may explain some oddball things that most people normally don't see in these getting home taxes because, well, you know, it may not be right for you or you just can't find it.
North of the capital, Managua. Over 100 homes were reportedly damaged. Just a half hour later, a 5.1 magnitude aftershock occurred near the initial epicenter. Officials say they are still searching for those injured while dealing with landslides blocking major roads.
So I want to remind everybody that's watching, if you're just starting out making your getting home pack, don't watch this because we're going to fly so quick. I'm not going to explain everything. You know, unless you're doing the research to have an understanding, it's just going to be boring. So here we go. Here's something odd. This is a titanium barbecue grill. Doesn't weigh anything. I don't see those very often other than big grills in these cross. Anyway. And by the way, you know, just because your car got crushed and the roads near where your car are destroyed, it'd be nice to figure out a way to get home really quick. And hitchhiking in a disaster, believe it or not, is a little more efficient than the average time. So there's just a couple things that I'm just pointing out that are unusual. And now we're going to start tearing apart, and I'm going to start explaining little what things are and not why they are.
News out of Japan, where an 8.9 magnitude earthquake has struck that country's northeast coast overnight. That quake, which is said to be the largest in that country's history, triggered a 33-foot tsunami that washed away cars and boats and tore away buildings along the coast.
Well, we've got quite a few items laid out here, John. Why don't you go over what the heck this all is?
Well, almost all of this stuff was sitting on the outside of the pack. We have my tactical belt to put all the extra pouches on. We have my survival knife with a straw, a flashlight, a compass.
Is that a filtering straw?
Yeah, it's a survival straw, filtering straw. And it's got a sharpener, and it's got a fire starter. And if I had to just grab one quick thing, this is it, and maybe my firearm. We have a skinny knife, probably won't need that. I'll leave it behind, but it was a gift from a brother-in-law. We have a black scarf, and we have the key to the alarm system. We already talked about this. I always tell people leave room in their bug-out bag or getting home bag just in case you want to carry something extra. And since my pack is stuffed, I got this little guy. And I love this little pouch of being able to put extra stuff in there. So we have pepper spray, and then we have a flashlight, and really nice LED. And this little pouch has a little blue dot in here, and when you turn on the LED, it'll light up your trail just in front of you. So if you're trying to sneak around at night, you know, light up the whole area. So I got my canteen here, which of course I use for heating water. And then we have the machete, we have binoculars, a change of shoes, and I have Vibram socks. We have extra straps, the shovel with the pick, 10 by 8 tarp. This is the holster for my Glock. You saw the charging system already. This is a Snug Pack sleeping bag. I have a nice sleeping bag, but since it's that big, I wanted something nice and snug. This is my blow-up sleeping pad, my hat, a crowbar. And this is a change of clothes, convertible pants, long underwear, and a jacket. And there you go.
No, I got a question about the clothing.
Yes, sir.
Which is an obvious question to some, maybe not to others, but let's say you break open one of these nice sealed packs and you change your clothes.
Yeah.
Do you leave your dirty clothes behind?
No, we'll go inside this bag that carries the clothing.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you were going through all of this
Yeah.
and you did a complete clothing change, do you have room to stuff them back in?
Yeah, because the pack that holds everything is expandable. It's actually half its capability when it's carrying this stuff.
Okay, I got you.
When the earthquake hit, vital communication to save those injured flatlined. Phone lines and radio towers were mangled, crippling relief efforts. And as Local 10's Jonathan Bigliotti reports, in the days and weeks following that quake, it was a group of amateurs from Miami that called the shots and saved lives.
All right, this looks like some serious communications here. Why don't you explain what's going on?
Certainly. Well, this is what's called an FRS radio. It's basically the same radio most people would buy at Radio Shack or whatever. But what makes this unique is that not only is it waterproof, but it scans all those FRS channels. This is the microphone so that I can talk and listen while it's in the pack. This is an old trusty scanner, police scanner, and it's got all the local frequencies in it and some of the lower frequencies that are rarely used. And again, I have a little lapel speaker with a volume to be able to listen to that while I'm walking along. This is a CERT radio. In other words, I can communicate with the CERT community, but it also has more police frequencies in it, so I can listen to them and other personnel. And of course, another lapel microphone. Everybody knows a cell phone. This is a CB radio. It actually can transmit and receive, but what's important about a CB radio is there's people back east who are on big power, and you can hear them talking about the big earthquake in California. And this is an unusual AM/FM radio, and the reason I say unusual is it scans. Well, what's going to be the first radio station to come online after a big earthquake? Nobody knows. So by scanning, you'll be able to hear, it'll stop at the very first good signal, and you can start getting information. But the best out of all of these is the Globalstar satellite telephone. This is it in the way of communications in the middle of a disaster. This will always work. You just walk out to into the open and dial the phone number you want to dial. And I'm looking forward to the day when my wife is carrying one too.
The 8.2 magnitude quake killed 7 people, including a newborn baby who died from hypothermia. Quake victims are sleeping in makeshift tents and complain that water and electricity has not yet been restored.
Okay, we've seen the charger before, but I'm sure there's other accessories that go along with it. Why don't you explain what's going on here?
Certainly. So obviously right now you can see the light is on because I turned the power supply on. But we have different things here. For instance, we have a 12-volt adapter. We have various plugs for all kinds of different electronics. And this is the adapter to charge AAAs instead of AA's. We also have, if I happen to be where a car is that's been abandoned and I want to charge something, I have a way to charge off the cigarette lighter if the battery's still good in the car. I have another power pack for my CERT radio. I have more rechargeable batteries, and I have disposable batteries. And this is a headlight, which is very handy when you're working with things at night. So that's the electrical power pack, and this is the fire power pack. And so we have a couple of wet fire and some cotton, 2 different lighters, a firecracker, a forever match, fire starter, more matches. This is also a fire starter. This is the only stove I recommend putting in the trunk of your car if it's going to be 40 degrees. And this is all ultra flame, which basically is a gel that lights with a spark. We have some paracord and more of the alarm system, and a Leatherman multi-tool.
Some businesses can't get back into their stores because of quake damage and restricted cordons.
It's been a tough time for businesses in the city centre. Cordons remain up around many shaky buildings, and returning to normal is proving a challenge.
So this is the utility portion of the pack. Almost everything here came out of these different pockets. So what we have here is a complete cover for the pack, rain cover. Extra shoelaces and extra line. We have a knife sharpener, a magnifying glass, a compass, an extra dust mask, a map of the area, 1 tent pole, some super glue, a pocket constitution, a waterproof writing pad, a mirror, a copy of my driver's license and some money, a watch, nicotine patches, pencil, pins, and a Sharpie. Safety glasses, more dust masks. These came out of 2 pouches up here, and it's extra warm gloves and a wool hood. Over here we have zip ties, light sticks. I call this sort of like a survival spike. It's got wire, duct tape, and more line. Some black duct tape, soap, a little fishing kit, washing soap for dishes, aluminum foil, some Purell, a spoon, some, if you have a lot of grime to clean your hands, some toothpaste, and let's see, we have comb, toothbrush, and razor, extra glasses, a contractor's bag, and there you go.
Where's the toothpaste?
Right there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
4 days after the earthquake struck, and it is now the essentials people are craving most. There is no fresh water here. Power is still cut through large chunks of the city, and getting access to any fresh food at all is becoming increasingly difficult.
This is what is inside the big compartment. Most of the stuff I'm going to end up leaving behind if I'm only 20 miles from home. So here we go. That is a great filter. The Canadyne. Water bottles, MREs, sugar, a ration meal. We got scrambled eggs, a New Testament, Vienna sausages, Spam, scrambled eggs, coffee, more coffee, tea and coffee. Get more rations, tuna, hot chocolate, different hot chocolates, oatmeals, things like that you find in MRE. Lots of water, a cup, way to cook, boil, seasoning, crackers. I'd probably leave most of this behind. I'd probably grab this for water and basically everything else here. If I'm 20 miles from home, what do I need that for? There you go. So what we have here is toilet paper, a full roll that's been vacuum sealed, more toilet paper, some more Kleenex, and this is an extra carry bag in case I want to carry some extra stuff. It can also hold water.
The aid that's arrived here today is just a tiny, tiny fraction of what's needed. You can see the scale of the destruction all along the shoreline, and that's just one part of this city.
So, these are the final 2 pouches that are in the pack. What we have here is the party pack, and we're not really partying with this pack. So anyway, what we got here is drink additives, breakfast bars, candy, beef jerky, power bars, chocolate, alcohol, another bar, sunflower seeds, more chocolate, 5-hour energy, and some Vicks. The one thing I hope I never need, the first aid kit. So we got gloves and alcohol wipes and moleskin and various sizes of batteries, and hand warmer and UV protection and Israeli bandage, different prescriptions and eye wash, Gold Bond, ibuprofen, hydrogen peroxide, skin, chapstick, 2 kinds of bug spray, suture, medical tape, Kleenex, Ace bandage, thank you, the modern bandage wrap, earplugs, tweezers, and scissors. And that concludes the Getting Home pack. People look at my pack and go, I can't do all that. And I say, don't do all that. Do this. This is a simple 2-day Getting Home pack. This is what's in the trunk of my wife's car. This is what I recommend, minimally. All right, utilities packed up. And there's something in here. Uh-oh, there's something I didn't get. Oh man, it's all kinds of stuff. Oh, wow, look at that. A space blanket and a regular Mylar emergency blanket. We almost forgot to talk about the other side of the pack, which is the 2 microphones and 2 speakers that are hooked up to the radios. So while I'm walking home, I can continue to listen to and reply to my radios. That was it. Just wanted to get that in there. I think we basically covered everything else. So there's my beast. Hope I never need it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and
like and share.
Like and share, that's it. So long, folks.